G'day everyone, welcome to Getting the Jump, the show that's all about finding some early plays heading towards Saturday as those final field markets open. And today I've found someone who's an old sparring partner of mine, spent plenty of Saturday afternoons in our local tab, Ben Way.
Too many.
Too many indeed. Good to have you with us. And well, we've got the Queen finishing her career this Saturday at Royal Randwick. Best we've ever seen.
Yeah, she certainly is. I mean, I won't try and steer you away from that. Everybody has their own opinions on it, and I guess from my perspective, we've seen 3 champions, potentially 4, between Makybe Diva with the 3 Melbourne Cups, between Black Caviar with the 25 straight, and of course undefeated. So you think maybe a little asterisk in there in between, and now we see the great mare Winks. But I agree with you. I've never seen better, and she goes around $1.06, I think we saw last time before we jumped in the hot seat. So yeah, she's just the sort of horse where maybe unbackable from one standpoint, but geez, you have to sit there and just applaud.
Well, let's find a play in the race for the punters, and you're looking at the Winks out market.
I think you have to, unless you're keen on taking 6% interest. Do you? You have a home loan, I don't.
Yeah, 6%. Yeah, that's more. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, okay, done. Well, I think it'll be pretty painless viewing. We have seen some difficult times over the years. We saw Red Excitement go close to beating her. We saw Foxplay go close to beating her. I don't think any of those will go close on Saturday, but I think Kluger's the play. When it comes to the Winks out market, the Japanese horse, the form through the Doncaster, I'm sure will be strong as it always is.
Kluger finishes ahead of Happy Clapper and Hartnell. He's up 6 kilos at weight for age.
Hartnell just got him by a nostril.
Yeah, up 6 kilos going to weight for age. I know it was a great run, but you are getting $11.
Well, that's the thing. I think you're getting around $4.55 for Hartnell in the Winks out market, and Kluger's the other one. The other asterisk is the UK horse, and I mean, I don't know enough about that form line to reference it. It's currently favoured in the Winks out market, but my leniency is towards the Japanese horse.
Okay, so Kluger in the Winks out market for Ben. Let's head now to our overs plays of a couple of the other Group 1s. Going to the Sydney Cup, and Charlie Appleby, can he do it all again? He did it with polarisation a couple of years ago. He came and did it with cross counter. He's got Doobie, which at one stage was $26 in this market, into 3 back to $3.40. But he's a genius, Charlie.
Yeah, I wouldn't be wanting to question him. I don't think anybody would. He brings horses out. Jungle Cat was another that he brought out here and managed to win a decent sprint over in Melbourne. But in terms of this race, I don't think the stable, we've had a bit of a chat to the stable and a few of the riders that have had a close affinity with this horse. They don't think that Dubé is a top draw horse, but they're also not certain this Sydney Cup has the depth of other years. So I'm a little bit torn there. Which way do I lean? $3 feels way too short for me.
Yeah, starting to get out.
Yeah, I mean $3.40. Once it gets to $4.50, I might entertain it a little bit more, but there's not enough stable confidence for me to jump in.
Well, I'll give you an overs play in the race, and it's sound for Mike Moroney. I think this is arguably the best credentialed horse in the race. Won a Group 2 over 3,200 in Germany last year. And then 2 starts later, finished second to Best Solutions within half a length in a Group 1. And then, of course, Best Solution comes and wins the Caulfield Cup. You're getting around $23. I know it went horrible in Melbourne in all its runs there, but it just showed signs behind Avilius in the Tancred that the Sydney way of going is its better way, and its best form's on top of the ground. So if it runs to that, I guess, to its credentialed form overseas, I think that could be the play in the race. But that's the gamble you're taking there. For your overs play, well, we're going to go to the Oaks, and Very Elegant on top of the ground again, or it looks like, fingers crossed, we will get a drive service on Saturday. Is she vulnerable?
I think so. Vulnerable at the price, which is an odd way of wording it, but essentially we have the luxury of dealing with some of the best tipsters in the country, and there seems to be a uniform agreement. I don't propose myself to be an expert, but plenty of these are. Very Elegant is a horse that has poor manners. We know that. She throws the head around. She's been proven that it can cost you in big races once you get over the longer trips. We've already seen Aristia have her measure. And so I just feel as though maybe we need to look at that form from 4 or 5 runs back when Aristia really gave her a bit of a cold when it came to the grand final. I feel as though back on top of the ground, Very Elegant is clearly the swimmer out of the crop. So she's the one that might just come back to them a touch, and Aristia is the horse that might jump up. But there's another one in there, and I want to reference Scarlet Dream, because Mark Newnham has Scarlet Dream, clearly hated the ground. And you would have seen this so many times. There are wet trackers, and then there are horses that can handle a Rose Hill heavy. It's a different kind of heavy, isn't it? It's a clear glue. You can't breaststroke through it. You kind of just need to, wade through it. And clearly Scarlet Dream didn't. And I think The overs represent that at the moment. That's probably the horse that I think is worth an each way play.
Okay, that's $16. Scarlet Dream, the overs play. In the Oaks, this is overs, unders now. Next, Ben, the Provincial Championship. You're looking to which horse?
Yeah, I am. I think there's significant overs when it comes to Safado. Good horse. Can't really see the reason why it would be that price, bar the fact that it didn't handle the heavy going. I think if you go off the start prior to that, probably runs at near half the price. So that's how I'm factoring it in. I've had a chat to a few of the experts who know a little bit more about this game than me. Brad Davidson in particular is keen on this horse, so I'm happy to jump in. And the Kimwar stable we know is near on invincible.
Now you're potting a favourite in the Oaks. We've already spoken. Very elegant. Unders for you.
Well, under's the price. Can she win? 100%, but no. Not for me. Not at that price. Not at $1.80.
All right, so now we're just going to roll Very Elegant into Dubai because...
Nothing surer, yeah.
You're potting it as well.
No. So, yes, long story short, the certainty is doubling those two favourites in. But again, it's not about whether Dubai can win, and we'll touch on the quaddie in a tick, but it's not about whether that horse can win. It's about whether you like the price. And I think in a race that... I don't think there are any world beaters across the board in this year's Sydney Cup. I think it'll be a fantastic addition, but due to the competitiveness of the field, I don't think there's a standout, and you're getting a $3-4 disparity between the second favourite. It just doesn't work for me.
Hate it when I agree with you, but I do. Okay, toting around. So with that quaddie pool projected to get to about $1.5 million for New South Wales tab customers, got to have a crack at the quaddie or the treble with Winks the first leg. I see after all that you put Dubai in the Sydney Cup leg and for try, I suppose, because you think, you can only oppose it for the price, but you still got to have it in there.
Exactly.
The one I'm glad you put in your Coolmore Legacy League is Amphitrite. Mystic Journey form.
100% and can fly off a hot speed. So it really is race pattern dependent. I'm happy to take that risk, and that's the purpose of a quaddie, isn't it? You kind of need to factor in if they walk. Here are my couple. If they go moderate speed, which one has the turn of foot? And if they fly early, which one can steam over the top? And that's where she falls into it.
Okay, the early arrival. This is our overs play of the week. And you're going to the Provincial Championship. You're keen there on Kim Moore's runner.
Yeah, I must say from a conceptual point of view, I absolutely love the Provincial Championships and how it sets up. And I also love the fact that trainers need to take risks when it comes to the preparation of these horses. We've seen the likes of Sabato have a win, a devastating win, and then goes and runs on a heavy and struggles. Well, if you're ever going to forgive a horse, it's off the back of that track that we saw. So many of them didn't handle it, and to be beaten the margin, I mean, it was an unfair margin. So I'm happy to concede that, yes, it was an average performance, but if you strike a line through that, it's probably a chance in the race.
I'm going to have my play in the Coolmore Legacy, and Marc Ohlmus had this as his Specking Futures play last week, heading towards this race. Invincible Gem, coming off a win last start. I know it was a long way, broke a long run of outs, but you're getting $19. This is a mare which was within a length and a half of Shillelagh back in the Empire Rose, back in the equivalent race back in the spring. I think that's a big price for a pretty quality mare, and I actually think she's better on top of the ground. So I might have something there.
Fair enough. One point that I should have raised a little bit earlier, it was in regards to Very Elegant, and I'm not sure whether this is of importance to everybody watching or not, but I say everybody. Hello to the 100,000 of you. But Brad Davidson said to me he rated her a $2.80 pop.
Okay.
She's $1.80.
She might drift on race day.
I hope she does. You watch me back her anyway. No, I won't.
Thanks for joining us on Getting the Jump, Ben.
Do I get to come on next week?
We'll have a meeting about
that. I think your job's safe, Marc.
You can catch us each and every week on the Tab blog. See you next week.